The root of toxic influence, internal permission and self-sovereignty. My dear students, fellow travelers on the path of self-transcendence, today we delve into one of the most insidious yet pervasive realities of modern existence, the constant presence of what we term toxic energy, and more specifically, the individuals who carry and radiate this energy, the toxic people. This phenomenon, as many of you experience daily, permeates your workplaces, homes, social circles, and sometimes even surfaces within the quiet confines of your own minds. However, understanding this pervasive issue, and thus finding its profound and lasting resolution, does not lie in observing external manifestations. Rather, it resides deeply within the very core of each of you. This truth, often uncomfortable to confront, is precisely the key to your ultimate liberation. Allow me to articulate this with absolute clarity. The fundamental problem you encounter when the energy, attitude, or behavior of others affects you, when your inner peace feels disrupted, drained, or even hijacked by external chaos, criticism, or negativity, is not merely the existence of that toxicity in the outside world. No, my friends, the deep, authentic, and underlying root of this problem stems from the fact that, whether consciously or more frequently unconsciously, you grant them permission. Permission for that invasive energy to infiltrate your sacred personal space, permission for it to drain your vital life force, your key permission for it to disturb your natural state of calm and serenity, permission for it to undermine your confidence and self-worth, and permission for it to dictate and even manipulate your emotional state. Consider your innermost being as a fortress. Visualize each of you as an ancient, magnificent castle, fortified with strong, resilient walls and majestic, imposing gates. Within the sacred confines of this personal stronghold resides your unshakable peace, your pure vital energy, your crystal-clear mental clarity, and your most authentic essence. Toxic individuals and the corrosive energy they emanate are akin to invading forces attempting to besiege and penetrate your fortress. But how do they manage to gain entry? Through what hidden passage or vulnerability in your defenses? Let me assure you, they do not enter by sheer brute force. If you consistently maintain your gates securely closed, well protected, and vigilantly guarded. Instead, they enter because at some level of your being, a gate is subtly left ajar, or even wide open through an act of your own will, an act of permission that, as I've stated, can be both a conscious choice and far more often a deeply embedded unconscious pattern. This gateway, this point of entry, is your internal permission, the fundamental nature of energy, a constant, universal exchange. To truly comprehend why and how you grant this often damaging permission, we must first establish a clear understanding of the fundamental nature of energy itself. Everything in the universe, from the smallest subatomic particle to the most expansive galaxy, is energy, vibrating at different frequencies and magnitudes. Your thoughts, those intangible formations that seem to freely drift within your mind, are pure energy. Your emotions, those internal tides that stir and move you, are pure energy. Your words, the sounds you articulate that carry profound meaning, are energy. Your actions, the movements you perform in the world, are energy. And of course, human beings, each and every one of you, are complex, vibrant energy fields, constantly interacting, exchanging, and responding to the vibrations of others. When you interact with anyone, whether it's a fleeting casual encounter in the street or a deeply intimate, enduring relationship, an exchange of energy invariably occurs. This exchange is as fundamental and inevitable as the act of breathing itself. Just as the air you inhale and exhale is shared with your environment and with other living beings, the energetic field between you and others is also in constant communion. However, the quality of this exchange, its balance, its impact on your well-being, and its sustainability depends significantly on the intrinsic quality of your own energy, your inherent vibrational frequency, and crucially, on the strength, the permeability, and the conscious awareness of your internal boundaries, those psychic and emotional limits that meticulously define and protect your personal space. Individuals whom we categorize as toxic are typically those who, whether consciously or unconsciously, operate from a consistently low vibrational frequency. This low vibration can manifest in a myriad of behavioral and emotional forms, as explosive or chronic anger, deep-seated envy, corrosive resentment, a compulsive need for control over others, perpetual victimhood, incessant complaining, subtle or overt manipulation, or destructive criticism aimed at diminishing others. It is vital that you understand that I am not in this discourse rendering a moral judgment on the source of their toxicity. Often these individuals are themselves suffering profoundly and silently within, grappling with their own unresolved emotional wounds, their paralyzing fears, and their past traumas. However, their suffering, when projected outwards, through these low vibrational behaviors, transforms into a corrosive force that instinctively seeks to latch on, to feed upon, and ultimately to drain the vital energy of those around them. These individuals do not necessarily have to be consciously malicious or intentionally harmful in their intent. Quite often they operate from a profound place of unconsciousness, merely repeating learned patterns from their upbringing or responding to chronic internal pain that they lack the awareness or tools to identify, process, or heal. Nevertheless, the effect on you remains the same. You feel utterly exhausted, mentally fatigued, emotionally frustrated, profoundly angry, overwhelmingly anxious, or simply experience a pervasive sense of heaviness or density after the interaction, as if a dark, oppressive cloud has descended upon you. The silent permission, how we grant it and its subtle mechanisms. Now, my friends, we arrive at the most crucial and often the most challenging part to truly recognize. How do we, inadvertently, grant this detrimental permission? It is not granted through a formal declaration, a verbal agreement, or an explicit handshake. No, it is a silent permission, often so subtle and deeply ingrained that it remains almost imperceptible to the untrained eye, forged by habitual thought patterns, deeply rooted subconscious beliefs, and automatic emotional responses that have been conditioned throughout your lifetime. 1. The incessant quest for external validation. Many of you, due to your upbringing, societal norms, or inherent internal insecurities, have been conditioned to incessantly seek approval, recognition, acceptance, or validation from others to feel worthy or complete. When you interact with a toxic individual, if your inner peace, your self-esteem, or your fundamental sense of worth depends, even minimally, on that person's approval, or even worse, on avoiding their disapproval, criticism, or judgment, you are, in essence, handing over an immense and dangerous power over your very being. If a trivial criticism or a dismissive comment deeply wounds you, it is not merely because of the word itself, but because your own inherent value, your identity, has become unconsciously tethered to the fluctuating opinion of another. In that precise moment, you have granted permission for that criticism to penetrate the defenses of your fortress. You are unknowingly stating through your emotional reaction, my emotional state, my self-worth, my tranquility, is now entirely in your hands, subject to your judgment and whims. This, my friends, is a direct, open invitation to disempowerment and profound internal imbalance. 2. The trap of emotional reactivity. Toxic individuals, in many instances, are unconscious masters in the art of provocation. They feed, they thrive, and they gain energy from the emotional reactions of others. Their toxic energy instinctively seeks drama, conflict, anger, guilt, defensiveness, sadness, and frustration. When you respond to their provocation with an explosion of anger, with deep-seated frustration, with overwhelming sadness, with an urgent and desperate need to justify your position, or with a defensive and belligerent attitude, you are activating an energetic cord of connection with them. You are providing that individual with exactly what they seek, an emotional response that, from their distorted perspective, confirms their power, their ability to destabilize you and to steal your peace. Every time your internal calm is shattered, every time your center is lost due to their influence, you have granted permission. The stronger your reaction, the more fuel you provide. 3. The self-imposed need to fix or save. Some of you possess an inherently compassionate heart, deep empathy, and a natural tendency to genuinely want to help others. This is indeed a noble and beautiful quality. However, when this virtuous tendency becomes distorted and transforms into a compulsive need to save or fix a toxic individual, you inadvertently open yourselves to a constant debilitating energy drain. Much like an unbandaged wound that bleeds incessantly, you believe, perhaps with a blind faith, that you can change the other person with the sheer force of your love, with the magnitude of your effort, or with the depth of your understanding. But this belief, though well-intentioned, often leads you to immerse yourselves entirely in the other's chaos. allowing your own vital energy to be consumed and exhausted in what often proves to be a futile endeavor. Permission is granted when you erroneously believe that your responsibility extends to changing another's destiny or behavior, rather than focusing on the primary imperative of protecting your own well-being and your sacred energy. 4. The paralyzing fear of conflict, rejection, or confrontation. The deep-seated fear of upsetting others, of disappointing them, of not being accepted, of being rejected by a social group, or of initiating open conflict can lead you to silence your own inner voice, to ignore your vital internal boundaries, and to tolerate unacceptable behaviors that fundamentally violate your integrity and peace. When you fail to establish clear and firm boundaries, when you do not assertively say no, when your inner knowing screams for you to do so to protect yourselves, you are, in essence, opening the gates of your fortress. Permission is granted when you prioritize the illusory short-term comfort of avoiding conflict over the long-term integrity, authenticity, and profound protection of your own peace and self-worth. This is a subtle self-betrayal that accumulates over time. 5. Unconscious patterns and unresolved emotional wounds. This, my friends, represents the deepest and often most elusive layer of permission. In many cases, the permission for toxicity to enter your life is granted at a profoundly unconscious level, deeply rooted in unresolved emotional wounds from your past, perhaps even from your childhood. Perhaps as children you learned that the only way to receive attention or affection was through emotional drama, or that you had to constantly sacrifice your own needs to be loved and accepted, or that your voice, your needs, and your boundaries simply did not genuinely matter. These subconscious programs, often referred to in esoteric traditions as energetic cords or invisible contracts, lead you to unconsciously repeat self-destructive patterns, attracting or allowing into your lives individuals who activate those old wounds, thereby perpetuating the cycle of toxicity in a familiar yet painful dance. The external chaos you experience is often nothing more than a direct reflection of unresolved energy that resides within your own internal landscape. As long as these internal wounds remain unaddressed and unhealed, you will continue to grant permission, subconsciously attracting situations and people that confirm and reinforce those old limiting and painful beliefs about yourselves and the world. The inner mirror, external chaos as an internal reflection. The timeless wisdom of Shaolin, forged through millennia of rigorous introspection, disciplined practice, and keen observation of human nature, teaches us that the external world is, with astonishing precision, a mirror of our internal world. This is not a trivial metaphor, it is a profound truth that can powerfully guide your journey. If you repeatedly experience the same type of drama, if you find yourselves entangled again and again in the same kind of toxic interaction, if the same pervasive feeling of being drained by certain individuals consistently recurs in your life, it is a clear and undeniable signal. It is a powerful opportunity, an inescapable invitation, to bravely look inward with unwavering honesty and ask yourselves, without a trace of judgment or self-criticism, what unresolved energy am I carrying within that is resonating with this external vibration? What subconscious pattern am I currently operating from? In what ways, through my fears, my unmet needs, or my unhealed wounds, am I granting permission for this to enter and manifest in my life? This is not about self-blame, about adding another layer of suffering with the whip of self-condemnation. No, it is fundamentally about taking responsibility, not for the toxic behavior of the other, for their choices and actions are unequivocally their responsibility, but for the unconditional protection and sanctity of your own energetic space, your own inviolable peace. Responsibility, etymologically derived, means the ability to respond. Responsibility, and your capacity to respond differently, to break this pervasive cycle, begins precisely with a deep comprehension and honest acknowledgement of where and how you have been granting permission. By fundamentally understanding that the core problem does not lie exclusively in the existence of toxic individuals in the world. For my friends, they will always exist to a greater or lesser degree in the vast tapestry of human existence, but rather in your own internal relationship with them, in your own habitual reaction patterns, in your own insatiable quest for external validation, or in your own paralyzing fear of confrontation or judgment, you begin truly to reclaim your inherent power. This is the moment of truth, the profound turning point where victimhood transforms into empowerment. The solution, therefore, is not found in desperately attempting to change the toxic individual, which is almost always a futile, exhausting, and often resentment-inducing endeavor, nor is the solution found in completely avoiding them, which, while sometimes necessary and wise, is often practically impossible in the intricate complexity of real life, especially if they are close family members, colleagues, or neighbors. The solution, my friends, is, and always has been, profoundly and powerfully internal. To cease being affected, to become truly untouchable by that corrosive energy, you must cleanse yourselves from within. You must consciously seal those energetic and emotional gateways through which toxicity has been entering your sacred space without resistance. This is the first step, the most courageous and the most empowering, on the path toward true energetic sovereignty. Recognizing the root of the problem within yourselves is an act of immense inner bravery. It is the pivotal moment when you, consciously aware of your own innate power, cease to be a passive victim of external circumstances and begin, instead, to become the conscious architect of your own internal reality, of your own unshakable peace, of your own impregnable fortress. In our forthcoming teachings, we will meticulously explore how to undertake this profound internal cleansing, how to effectively seal those vulnerable gateways, and how to construct an inner fortress so impregnable that it radiates an energy so potent and peaceful that external forces cannot even approach to disturb it, but rather dissolve harmlessly in its presence. The power to hold toxic influence has always resided dormant within you. Now, it is time for it to be recognized, awakened, and diligently cultivated. The internal solution, the power of calm and sacred silence.
My dear students, fellow travelers on the path of self-transcendence.
In our previous discourse, we thoroughly unraveled the fundamental truth that the root cause of toxic influence lies not merely in the external existence of low vibrational individuals or energies, but rather in the permission that, either consciously or more frequently unconsciously, you inadvertently grant them to penetrate and disturb your inner sanctuary. Now, armed with this vital, liberating understanding, we can confidently advance towards the truly authentic and enduring solution, a resolution that is, by its very nature, profoundly and exclusively internal. There are no lasting external shortcuts, no superficial quick fixes, and no outward strategies that can permanently shield you if the inner core of your fortress remains vulnerable, porous, or unguarded. Allow me to articulate this with absolute clarity and conviction. To cease being affected by the insidious grip of toxic energy, to truly render yourselves impervious and invulnerable to its corrosive and draining effects, you must embark upon a profound journey of cleansing yourselves from within. This inner cleansing is not a mere superficial act of fleeting self-affirmation. It is, rather, a deep, transformative re-engineering of your entire internal landscape, a meticulous readjustment of your fundamental energetic patterns, and a comprehensive healing of the persistent emotional wounds that until now have served as gaping, unguarded doorways, inviting external negativity. The external chaos that you perceive, that rattles your composure, and that so often profoundly perturbs your peace, is, to a significant and often overlooked extent, a direct, energetic reflection of unresolved energy within your own internal being. If turbulent storms rage outside, and those storms violently shake your inner foundations, it is because echoes, perhaps even blueprints, of that very same storm are resonating unaddressed within your own inner depths. Therefore, the genuine and lasting solution lies in diligently calming and mastering your own internal sea. The inner cleansing, awakening the sanctuary of the self. What does it truly mean then, to cleanse yourselves from within? This is not an esoteric, mystical concept reserved for cloistered ascetics or an unreachable ideal. On the contrary, it is a practical, accessible, and highly disciplined process rooted in profound self-awareness, conscious disidentification, and meticulous energetic rebalancing. 1. Recognize and release identification. The initial and crucial phase of this profound inner cleansing involves accurately recognizing and diligently identifying those internal wounds, subconscious beliefs, and unconscious patterns that compel you to continually grant permission for external toxicity to enter. This demands a level of introspection that is both unflinchingly honest and frequently deeply uncomfortable, for it forces you to confront aspects of yourselves you may have long avoided. Ask yourselves, Where do I habitually seek external validation? And from whom? What deep-seated fears or anxieties drive me to avoid necessary conflict or confrontation? What old narratives or childhood programming convince me that I must endlessly save others or passively endure what is fundamentally unacceptable and disrespectful? Once you bravely identify these deeply ingrained patterns, the true cleansing begins with the deliberate act of releasing your identification with them. You are not your wounds, you are not your fears, you are not your past conditioning. You are at your core the conscious discerning observer who possesses the inherent power and the profound freedom to choose a new empowering and self-honoring response. 2. Process and release stagnant emotions. Much of that unresolved energy I speak of consists of stagnant, unexpressed or suppressed emotions. Unvented anger, unshed tears of sadness, corrosive, unreleased resentment, paralyzing, repressed fear, or chronic, unacknowledged guilt. These emotions, when not consciously processed, acknowledged, and released, transform into dense energetic blockages within your being. These blockages act as magnetic anchors, attracting and resonating with external toxicity, creating a self-perpetuating cycle of energetic drain. The cleansing process thus inherently involves courageously allowing these suppressed emotions to surface into conscious awareness, to feel their raw intensity fully and completely without judgment or suppression, and then to release them in a constructive, healthy, and empowering manner. This release can manifest through diverse practices: deep, meditative introspection, conscious flowing movement disciplines such as Qigong or Shaolin Kung Fu, expressive writing in a journal, compassionate dialogue with a trusted skilled therapist, or even the simple cathartic act of allowing yourself to cry freely or to vocalize your frustration in a safe, private space. By meticulously clearing these internal energetic blockages, the external toxic energy progressively loses its very point of attachment, its resonance, and its ability to latch onto your inner being. 3. Strengthen your energetic boundaries. Inner cleansing also profoundly involves the conscious and deliberate construction of robust, yet flexible energetic boundaries around your personal space. This is achieved through unwavering intention, consistent visualization, and diligent practice. Vividly imagine a luminous, impenetrable shield of pure, radiant light surrounding your entire being, a shield that permits passage only to energies that are in absolute alignment with your highest peace, your deepest well-being, and your authentic self. Visualize how any energy of low vibration, be it anger, criticism, fear, or manipulation, simply dissolves, dissipates, or harmlessly rebounds upon contact with this radiant shield, utterly unable to penetrate your sacred space. This powerful visualization, when practiced daily with conviction and focus, is not a mere fantasy. It is a profound act of subconscious programming that meticulously reinforces your innate capacity to maintain your energetic field pure, intact, and inviolable. The inherent strength, resilience, and efficacy of this energetic shield emanate directly from your own unwavering conviction, your deep belief in your self-worth, and the cultivated power of your own inner peace. 4. Reclaim your energetic sovereignty. Fundamentally, inner cleansing is a powerful, transformative act of reclaiming your absolute energetic sovereignty. This means internalizing the profound truth that you and you alone are the ultimate owners, masters, and unwavering guardians of your own precious energy. No external force, no individual, no circumstance has the inherent right to claim or drain your energy without your explicit conscious consent, and conversely, you possess the inherent sovereign power to consciously withdraw that permission at any given moment. This is a fundamental, empowering principle that you must deeply internalize and embody. You are not helpless victims to external energies. You are powerful, sovereign beings endowed with the innate intrinsic capacity to meticulously protect and meticulously manage your own energetic field. This realization is the cornerstone of true self-empowerment. The power of silence and calm, disarming toxicity with inner stillness. Once the profound process of inner cleansing has commenced, one of the most potent yet often profoundly underestimated tools at your disposal for protecting your energy and skillfully navigating external toxicity is the absolute power of silence and unwavering calm. Instead of instinctively reacting with explosive anger, with defensive posturing, with overwhelming frustration, or with a desperate, insecure need to justify your position, I urge you to respond with deliberate, unwavering calm. The reason for this strategic response is deceptively simple, yet profoundly effective. Toxic individuals feed voraciously on emotional reactions. Your unwavering calm unequivocally disarms them. Imagine a raging fire. The readily available fuel for that fire consists of your intense volatile emotions, your anger, your fear, your frustration, your defensiveness. If you consciously withhold that fuel, if you deny the fire what it craves, then inevitably the fire cannot sustain itself. It cannot burn. If instead of impulsively adding more kindling to their fire, your own reactive emotions, you respond with a steady, unyielding torrent of cool, clear water, your imperturbable calm, the fire will not only fail to grow but will progressively diminish and ultimately extinguish itself. Silence, more than just the absence of auditory noise. The profound silence of which I speak is far more than merely the absence of verbal noise or the cessation of external sounds. It is fundamentally an internal silence, a deep, serene stillness of the mind and the heart that subsequently radiates and reflects outwards into your external demeanor. When a toxic individual attempts to provoke you, criticizes you harshly, manipulates you subtly, or seeks to violently drag you into their chaotic drama, your instinctive, conditioned reaction is often to immediately defend yourselves, to counterattack, to passionately justify your stance, or to passively yield in an attempt to avoid further conflict. All of these common responses, while seemingly natural, are ultimately forms of winding up the interaction, of unwittingly fueling and feeding the toxic energy, giving it precisely what it craves. But if, instead of instinctively engaging in that reactive dance, you respond with silence, a profound non-reactive silence, and with an emanating calm that originates from your deep, unmoving center, something truly extraordinary, almost alchemical, occurs. Your silence becomes a powerful, unvarnished mirror. The toxic individual projects their negativity, their chaos, their pain, their desire for a reaction. But upon encountering your non-response, upon failing to find the expected reflection of their own chaos within you, they are compelled, at a deep subconscious level, to confront their own projected energy. Your silence is not a sign of weakness, of defeat, or of indifference. It is, rather, a profound and unequivocal declaration of your absolute inner sovereignty. It is the energetic equivalent of calmly and firmly stating, "This energy does not belong to me. I do not accept it, and I will not feed it." This intentional silence is profoundly powerful because it disorients and unbalances the provoker. Toxic individuals often operate with deeply ingrained, predictable psychological scripts. They have specific, pre-programmed expectations about how you will react to their provocations. When you deliberately deviate from their script, when you deny them the expected emotional response, their internal script breaks. They are left without the anticipated fuel, without the familiar dynamic. This creates a powerful dissonance within them that often disorients them, frustrates their manipulative attempts, and frequently compels them to either retreat or to change their tactics altogether as their strategy has failed. It maintains your center and cohesion. While the other person may be engulfed in their own internal or external chaos, your unwavering silence and cultivated calm enable you to remain profoundly connected to your own serene center. Your vital energy is not dispersed, fragmented, or squandered in the drama. Your mind remains clear, focused, and unclouded. Your inner peace remains largely unaffected, serving as an anchor in the storm. It is an unspoken declaration of clear limits. Without uttering a single word, your emanating calm and quiet presence establish a clear, firm, and often impenetrable energetic boundary. It communicates non-verbally but powerfully that your personal space is sacred, that your peace is inviolable, and that it is unequivocally non-negotiable. It is a highly effective, dignified way of saying no, without having to engage in a futile battle of wills or a draining verbal argument. It can foster reflection in the other. In some rare but significant cases, a sustained, tranquil silence and an unshakable calm can, over time, subtly compel the toxic individual to pause and genuinely reflect upon their own behavior and its ineffectiveness. When they consistently fail to elicit the habitual desired reaction from you, they might at a deeper level begin to question the efficacy of their own disruptive tactics, and perhaps even the underlying source of their own deep-seated pain and unconscious need for conflict. This is a possibility, though not the primary goal. Calm, the impenetrable fortress of your being. Calmness is not the absence of feelings or emotions. It is rather the cultivated capacity to fully feel and acknowledge your emotions, be it anger, frustration, sadness, or fear, without permitting them to hijack your actions, to cloud your judgment, or to dictate your overall state of being. It is the profound wisdom of recognizing the wave of emotion as it rises within you, without allowing yourselves to be violently swept away by its overwhelming current, maintaining your inner stability. How to cultivate calmness in moments of provocation. Practical applications. 1. The conscious pause, the sacred gap between the external stimulus, the toxic word or action, and your conditioned reaction. There always exists a minuscule, almost imperceptible microsecond. This is a sacred, invaluable space. Within that tiny gap resides your ultimate freedom. Diligently train your mind to consciously lengthen this pause. Instead of reacting automatically and impulsively, take 1 or 2 deep, slow, and intentional breaths, drawing the air deep into your diaphragm. Feel the sensation of the air entering and gently leaving your body. This conscious pause of merely a second or 2 possesses the profound power to completely change the trajectory and the outcome of the entire interaction, allowing for a deliberate, wise response. 2. Non-judgmental observation, internal witnessing. During that conscious pause, or even if the automatic reaction has already begun to manifest, diligently observe your own internal reaction. Notice precisely how the anger manifests in your body, perhaps a tightening in your chest or shoulders. Observe how frustration tenses your jaw or clenches your fists. Notice the thoughts that automatically arise in your mind. This is unacceptable. They don't respect me. I deserve better. Simply observe these internal phenomena. Do not judge your emotion, but crucially, do not identify with it either. Instead of thinking, I am angry, gently reframe it to I am feeling anger. This vital process of disidentification grants you immense power and internal detachment. 3. Anchoring in the body. Grounding. When the mind becomes agitated, turbulent, or overwhelmed by external stimuli, your physical body can serve as an invaluable, reliable anchor to the present moment. Consciously feel the sensation of your feet firmly planted on the ground, the solid chair beneath you, the gentle sensation of your clothing against your skin. Connect deeply with these tangible physical sensations to bring your diffused consciousness back into the immediate present moment and out of the turbulent mental whirlwind of reactivity. 4. Deep diaphragmatic breathing. Physiological reset. Consistently practicing slow, deep breathing, originating from your diaphragm, where your abdomen visibly expands upon inhalation, activates your parasympathetic nervous system, the body's natural rest and digest system. This physiological response powerfully counteracts the fight or flight response triggered by the sympathetic nervous system, which is active during stress. Practice this deep, conscious breathing regularly throughout your day, not just during moments of tension, and it will progressively become your natural, automatic response to stress and provocation, calming your entire being. 5. Mental reframing. Perspective shift. Consciously and swiftly reframe the situation in your mind. Instead of perceiving the toxic individual as a personal attacker, an enemy, or someone intentionally trying to harm you, endeavor to view them through a lens of deeper compassion, as a being who is themselves suffering, merely projecting their own unresolved pain, fear, or insecurity onto you. This compassionate reframe does not in any way excuse their detrimental behavior, but it profoundly allows you to emotionally distance yourselves from the interaction and avoid internalizing their negativity as something personal. Remember that their chaos is often a direct reflection of unresolved energy within their own internal landscape. 6. Visualization of the energetic shield. Reinforcing boundaries. Continuously reinforce the powerful visualization of your impenetrable energetic shield. Imagine that the negativity, the criticism, or the low vibrational energy emanating from the other person simply collides against this radiant, unwavering barrier of pure light and profound peace that surrounds you, utterly unable to penetrate or disturb your inner sanctum. This visualization, consistently applied, strengthens your energetic integrity. Calmness as disarmament, an unbreakable field of force. When you are able to consciously and consistently maintain a state of unwavering calm in the midst of provocation, the effect on the toxic individual is undeniably disarming. Toxic individuals, much like predators, instinctively seek out weakness, vulnerability, and an exploitable emotional response that they can leverage. When they encounter your unmoving, serene calm, they become disoriented. It is akin to violently striking a solid, unyielding wall that offers no resonance, no echo, no reciprocal force. Their projected energy dissipates harmlessly into the void, having found no purchase, no fuel, no point of engagement. This cultivated silence and profound calmness are not acts of passivity, weakness, or indifference. They are in fact acts of immense active power. They are the undeniable manifestation of an internal mastery that very few individuals in the world possess. They are the tangible proof that you have diligently begun the profound process of cleansing yourselves from within, that you are actively sealing those vulnerable doorways through which toxicity previously gained entry and took root. This hard-won internal mastery not only powerfully protects you from the corrosive influence of toxic individuals, but also profoundly transforms your entire experience of life itself. When you are no longer hostages to impulsive emotional reactions, when you can maintain your serene calm amidst any external storm, your inner freedom expands exponentially, reaching new, unforeseen heights. It is not that external problems miraculously disappear, rather your innate capacity to face them, to skillfully navigate through them, and to extract invaluable lessons from them becomes unshakable and limitless. The Shaolin wisdom unequivocally teaches that true strength resides not in external aggression, not in dominance over others, and certainly not in the acquisition of material power. True strength lies in the complete, unwavering mastery of oneself. The most significant, the most profound, and the most tangible battle you will ever face is the one waged within your own interior. When that internal battle is consistently won, when your mind and your emotions are firmly under your own conscious, compassionate control, then the external world, with all its inherent toxicity, its chaos, and its unpredictable nature, loses its power to genuinely disturb or diminish you. You become truly untouchable, not because you isolate yourselves from the world, but because your peace, a profound and radiating inner fortress, projects a superior, unassailable energy that transforms your reality. This is the illuminated path towards true inner peace, a profound and enduring state where genuine happiness and contentment do not depend on the absence of problems, but rather on your unwavering capacity to remain calm, centered, and silent in the midst of them, cultivating an inner stillness that transcends all external disturbances. This is the crucial next step towards the energetic sovereignty that not only empowers you to protect yourselves, but also enables you to subtly, yet powerfully elevate the energy of your surroundings with your own radiant tranquility, detachment, sovereignty, and changing your energetic frequency. My dear students, fellow travelers on the path of self-transcendence, having rigorously explored the profound internal solution to toxic influence, the diligent process of inner cleansing, and the powerful application of silence and calm, we now advance to an even deeper principle: the cultivation of detachment, the unwavering establishment of inner sovereignty, and the transformative act of changing your very energetic frequency. These are not mere mental exercises, but fundamental shifts in your being that render you truly impervious to external disturbances, allowing you to reside in a state of unshakable peace, regardless of the chaos that may swirl around you. Let us be unequivocal: true freedom is not found in the absence of problems, but in your profound detachment from them. This is a central tenet of Shaolin wisdom, a truth that liberates the spirit from the endless cycle of reactivity. Many individuals mistakenly believe that if they could only eliminate all external challenges, all difficult people, all sources of stress, then and only then would they experience peace. But life, by its very nature, is a continuous flow of challenges and changes. To seek peace by controlling the external world is a futile endeavor, akin to trying to hold water in your hands. It will always slip through. True peace, therefore, must be an internal state, cultivated independently of outer circumstances. Detachment, the liberation from clinging. What exactly is this detachment I speak of? It is not apathy, nor is it indifference. Detachment is not about ceasing to care or withdrawing from the world. On the contrary, It is about caring so deeply for your inner peace and your well-being that you refuse to allow external events, the words of others, or even your own fleeting thoughts and emotions to dictate your state of being. It is the ability to observe phenomena, thoughts, emotions, external situations, the behavior of toxic individuals without clinging to them, without identifying with them, and without allowing them to define you. Think of yourselves as a tree firmly rooted in the earth. The winds may blow fiercely, the rain may fall heavily, but the tree, though its branches may sway, remains rooted. It does not resist the wind, it bends with it. It does not cling to the sunny days, nor does it despair in the storms. It simply is. This is the essence of detachment, remaining rooted in your essence, allowing the external currents to flow past without uprooting your inner calm. When you are attached, your emotional state is directly tied to the outcome of external events or the approval of others. If things go well, you are happy. If they go poorly, you suffer. If someone praises you, you feel good. If they criticize you, you feel diminished. This is a life of constant emotional roller coaster, dictated by external variables beyond your control. Detachment breaks this chain. It allows you to experience joy without clinging to it, knowing it will pass, and to experience sorrow without being consumed by it, knowing it too will pass. It means understanding that your inherent worth, your fundamental peace, is not dependent on anything external. The practice of detachment. 1. Observe without judgment. As we discussed, the foundation of detachment is the practice of observing your thoughts, emotions, and external events without immediate judgment or reactive engagement. See them as passing clouds in the sky of consciousness. They are there, but they are not you, and you do not need to be carried away by them. 2. Release the need for control. Consciously acknowledge and release your ingrained need to control outcomes, other people's opinions, or external situations. Focus your energy only on what is within your sphere of influence, your actions, your own reactions, and your own internal state. 3. Practice non-clinging. When something pleasant happens, enjoy it fully, but practice non-clinging. Do not desperately try to hold on to the moment or to recreate it exactly. When something unpleasant happens, acknowledge the discomfort, but practice non-clinging to the suffering. Allow the emotion to move through you without dwelling on it. 4. Understand impermanence. Everything in life is impermanent. All situations, all emotions, all relationships, all possessions, they are all in a constant state of flux. By deeply internalizing this truth, you truly develop a sense of detachment. There is nothing to hold on to, because everything is always changing. This understanding brings a profound sense of peace and acceptance. Inner sovereignty, reclaiming your kingdom. Hand in hand with detachment comes the principle of inner sovereignty. This is the realization that you are the absolute ruler of your own internal kingdom. No one has the right to perturb your peace, your clarity, or your energy without your permission. This is not about being arrogant or dismissive of others, but about recognizing your inherent right and responsibility to protect your inner world. For too long, many of you have lived as if your internal state were a public square, open to all influences, subject to every passing comment or mood of another. You have given away your power, allowing others to act as puppet masters, pulling your emotional strings with their words, their criticisms, their dramas. Inner sovereignty is the unwavering declaration. My internal world is my sacred domain. I decide what enters and what does not. I decide how I will feel and how I will respond. This means no longer allowing the chaos of others to dictate your inner landscape. It means recognizing that their anger is their anger, their fear is their fear, their judgment is their judgment, and it has nothing to do with your inherent worth. You do not absorb it, you do not internalize it, you observe it, acknowledge its presence, and then consciously choose to let it pass by, untouched. Your peace is your sacred right, and it is non-negotiable. Changing your energetic frequency, becoming intouchable. The most powerful implication of cultivating detachment and inner sovereignty is that you literally change your energetic frequency. This is not merely a metaphor, it is a profound energetic truth. Everything vibrates at a certain frequency. Low vibrations are associated with emotions like anger, fear, resentment, shame, and guilt. High vibrations are associated with emotions like peace, joy, love, gratitude, and compassion. When you consistently respond to toxic input with calm, silence, and detachment, you are choosing to operate from a higher frequency. You are refusing to descend to the lower vibration of the toxic individual. Toxic individuals instinctively sense when you have changed your frequency, when they have lost control over you, and when their usual tactics no longer work. They thrive on energetic resonance. If you vibrate at a low frequency, anger, fear, defensiveness, you resonate with them, and they can easily hook into your energy. But if you elevate your frequency to one of peace and calm, you become energetically misaligned with them. Imagine two musical instruments. If they are tuned to different keys, they will not resonate with each other, no matter how loudly one is played. Similarly, when you change your inner frequency to one of peace, the discordant energy of toxic individuals simply cannot resonate with you. It hits a different energetic key and cannot find a point of connection. It's as if you become energetically invisible or impervious to their attacks. They lose their ability to read you, to push your buttons, because those buttons are no longer connected to a reactive circuit. This is why, as I teach, by choosing peace you change your energy and become untouchable. It's not a superficial tactic, it's an intrinsic transformation. When you genuinely embody peace, when your inner state is one of unshakable calm, this peace radiates outwards. It creates an energetic field around you that acts as a natural deterrent. The toxic person senses this lack of resonance, this lack of exploitable weakness, and instinctively retreats or moves on to seek fuel elsewhere. They realize their manipulative scripts have failed because you are no longer playing their game. The practicality of energetic shift. Conscious choice of state. Every moment offers a choice. When confronted with toxicity, consciously choose your internal state. Will you descend into anger or frustration, or will you choose peace, calm, and detachment? This consistently made recalibrates your energetic frequency. 2. Maintain your vibration. Engage in practices that consistently elevate your personal vibration. Meditation, mindful breathing, spending time in nature, practicing gratitude, engaging in acts of kindness, pursuing your purpose, and maintaining a healthy lifestyle. These practices build a strong, high vibrational foundation. 3. Observe without engaging. When a toxic person attempts to engage you, observe their behavior, their words, their energy, but do not engage your emotions with it. Do not allow their low vibration to pull you down. Maintain your internal calm and simply let their words or actions flow past you without sticking. 4. Respond. Don't react. As discussed in the previous section, the conscious pause allows you to respond from a place of clarity and peace, rather than reacting from a place of impulse or lower emotion. A response comes from your conscious choice. A reaction is automatic and often detrimental. This shift in frequency has profound implications beyond just dealing with toxic people. When you operate from a higher vibration, you naturally attract more positive experiences, more harmonious relationships, and more opportunities that align with your elevated state. You become a magnet for what serves your highest good and a repellent for what does not. This process of detachment, inner sovereignty, and energetic frequency shift is not a quick trick or a superficial fix. It is a profound spiritual practice. It demands consistent self-awareness, unwavering discipline, and a deep commitment to your own inner peace. It means constantly facing and releasing your own unresolved patterns and fears that previously allowed external influences to penetrate. When you fully embody these principles, you no longer need to build walls or fight battles with others. Your very presence, imbued with calm, detachment, and an elevated frequency, becomes your most potent shield. You become a living embodiment of peace, radiating a silent power that disarms negativity and allows you to move through the world with grace and unshakable serenity. This is the true meaning of becoming untouchable, not by being hardened but by becoming utterly clear and pure in your essence, allowing no resonant point for toxicity to latch on. Cutting the cord of validation and spiritual transformation. My dear students, fellow travelers on the path of self-transcendence, we have meticulously explored the fundamental understanding that external toxic influence takes root through internal permission. And we have delved into the profound power of cultivating inner calm and sacred silence as essential tools for energetic protection. Now, we must confront a deeper, more challenging yet ultimately liberating aspect of this journey, the imperative to cut the cord of external validation and to fully embrace the understanding that this entire transformation is, at its very core, a profound spiritual practice. This is not a superficial trick or a fleeting mental adjustment, but a fundamental shift in consciousness that demands courage, self-honesty, and persistent inner work. Cutting the cord of external validation, reclaiming your self-worth. One of the most insidious ways in which you inadvertently grant permission for toxic energy to infiltrate your sacred inner space is through the relentless and often unconscious pursuit of external validation. This is a deep-seated human tendency, often ingrained from childhood, where your sense of self-worth, your identity, and your emotional stability become intricately tied to the approval, recognition, or acceptance of others. When you crave external validation, you hand over your inner power, your emotional equilibrium, and your peace to those whose opinions you seek, making yourself vulnerable to their judgments, their criticisms, and their emotional whims. I teach that you must stop seeking approval from those who harm you. This seemingly simple directive holds immense power. If someone's words or actions consistently diminish you, drain your energy, or undermine your confidence, yet you find yourself still craving their praise, fearing their disapproval, or desperately trying to win their affection, you are maintaining an energetic cord, a bond of dependence that allows them continued access to your inner landscape. This cord, though invisible, is a conduit through which their toxicity flows directly into your being. Consider this: when you seek validation, you are implicitly telling the world and yourselves that your worth is external, that it resides outside of you, in the hands of others. This makes you vulnerable to manipulation. A toxic individual, often operating from their own deep insecurities and a need for control, intuitively senses this craving for validation. They will strategically withhold approval, offer backhanded compliments, or employ subtle criticisms to keep you off balance, to keep you striving for their acceptance, and thereby to maintain their power over your emotional state. They thrive on your desperate need to be seen, acknowledged, or loved by them. The act of cutting this cord of validation is a radical act of self-love and self-sovereignty. It means recognizing that your inherent worth is intrinsic, self-existent, and non-negotiable. It does not depend on anyone else's opinion, praise, or acceptance. It means consciously deciding that their approval is no longer a currency you accept for your internal peace. The practice of severing the cord. 1. Identify the source of the craving. Begin by honestly identifying where you seek validation most desperately, particularly from individuals who tend to be toxic. Is it a parent, a boss, a romantic partner, or a particular social group? Recognize the specific patterns of behavior you exhibit when seeking their approval, e.g., over-explaining, people-pleasing, self-sacrificing. 2. Acknowledge the pain of disapproval. Consciously sit with the discomfort of their disapproval or criticism. Instead of immediately reacting or trying to fix it, observe the feelings of rejection or inadequacy that arise. Acknowledge them, breathe into them, and understand that these feelings are signals of an internal wound, not a reflection of your unworthiness. 3. Redefine your worth internally. Shift your focus from external validation to internal validation. Cultivate a robust inner sense of self-worth based on your values, your integrity, your efforts, and your own inherent being. This requires consistent self-reflection, mindfulness, and perhaps journaling to identify and appreciate your own strengths and accomplishments, independent of external affirmation. 4. Practice emotional non-attachment to outcomes. When you engage with a toxic individual, practice non-attachment to their reaction or their opinion. Seek your truth, set your boundaries, or take necessary action, but release any expectation or need for them to respond positively or to validate your actions. Your peace comes from your integrity, not their response. 5. Embrace your silence with clarity, not pain. I emphasize that your silence should not be filled with pain, but with clarity. When you stop seeking validation, your silence towards their provocations transforms from a silent plea for acceptance into a powerful statement of self-possession. If you remain silent but are internally churning with pain, resentment, or a desperate hope for their change, the cord is still active. But if your silence is born from a clear understanding of your boundaries, your self-worth, and your unwavering commitment to your own peace, then that silence becomes a true energetic severance. It's a silent, firm no that resonates with your complete self-acceptance. Cutting the cord is an ongoing practice. It's about retraining deep-seated patterns of emotional dependence. Each time you choose to prioritize your inner peace over external approval, you weaken the old cord and strengthen your own energetic sovereignty. Spiritual transformation, the deep work of consciousness. The entire process I am guiding you through, from understanding internal permission, to cultivating calm and silence, to embracing detachment and self-sovereignty, is not a mere behavioral adjustment or a set of psychological tricks. It is fundamentally a profound spiritual transformation. I emphasize that it is not a quick trick, but a shift of consciousness. This means that you are not just changing what you do, but who you are at a foundational level. A shift of consciousness implies moving from an unconscious, reactive and externally dependent state of being to a conscious, proactive and internally grounded one. It's a journey from living in the sleep of automatic patterns and societal conditioning to awakening to your true, powerful self. This transformation requires dedicated, consistent inner work, which often means facing internal wounds and releasing the need to be accepted by those who cannot respect themselves. The core of spiritual transformation, healing the inner wounds. The deepest roots of your vulnerability to toxic energy lie in your own unhealed internal wounds. These are often remnants of past hurts, traumas, rejections, or feelings of inadequacy that have been suppressed or unaddressed. They create energetic holes or vacuums within you that unconsciously seek to be filled by external sources, whether it's validation, love, or even conflict that feels familiar. Toxic individuals, with their own unresolved issues, often trigger these wounds, perpetuating a painful cycle. Facing internal wounds. This requires immense courage. It means turning inward and acknowledging the pain, the fear, the shame, or the grief that you may have buried deep within. It's about allowing those emotions to surface, processing them without judgment, and understanding their origin. This process can be uncomfortable, even painful, but it is absolutely necessary for true healing. It's like a physician cleaning a wound. The process may sting, but it's essential for preventing infection and promoting lasting health. Mindful awareness. Use your practice of observation to bring awareness to these inner wounds. When a toxic interaction triggers an intense emotional response, instead of focusing solely on the external trigger, turn your attention inward. Ask, what in me is hurting? What old memory or belief is this activating? Self-compassion. Approach your wounds with immense compassion, not self-criticism. Remember, these wounds were formed often when you were vulnerable and defenseless. Treat your inner child with the kindness and understanding it needs. Release and forgiveness. Healing involves releasing the grip of past pain and often forgiveness, not necessarily for the other person, but for yourselves, for holding on to the burden. This releases the energetic charge associated with the wound, releasing the need for acceptance from the unworthy. The phrase "releasing the need to be accepted by those who cannot respect themselves" is profoundly insightful. Individuals who exhibit toxic behaviors often operate from a place of deep self-disrespect, self-loathing, or unresolved internal conflict. They project their inner turmoil outwards because they lack the capacity for self-acceptance, self-love, or self-respect. When you seek acceptance from such individuals, you are essentially asking someone who is internally fractured to validate your wholeness. It is an impossible task, akin to asking a thirsty person to fill your cup when their own well is dry. Not only can they not give you what you seek, but in their own emptiness, they may even try to drain what little you have. This spiritual transformation involves recognizing that their behavior is a reflection of them, not you. Their toxicity is a manifestation of their internal state, their unresolved issues, their lack of self-respect. It has nothing to do with your inherent value or worth. True acceptance comes from within. Your deepest acceptance must come from yourselves. When you fully accept who you are, flaws and all, the need for external validation diminishes significantly. You cannot heal others by sacrificing yourselves. Your compassion can extend to understanding their suffering, but it should not lead to self-sacrifice or allowing them to continue harming you. Your primary responsibility is your own well-being. Not everyone is meant to be in your inner circle. As part of this spiritual growth, you learn to discern Not every soul is compatible with your highest vibration. It is an act of spiritual maturity to create energetic boundaries and, if necessary, physical distance from those who consistently bring you down. The ongoing journey of consciousness shift. This spiritual transformation is not a one-time event or a sudden enlightenment. It is an ongoing journey of consistent self-awareness, diligent practice, and courageous inner work. It is a continuous process of shedding old patterns, healing old wounds, and consciously choosing to operate from a higher level of consciousness. Daily practice. Just as a martial artist trains daily to refine their physical skills, a spiritual practitioner engages in daily practices to refine their consciousness. This includes meditation, mindful breathing, journaling, self-reflection, and consciously applying the principles of detachment and inner sovereignty in your interactions. Patience and persistence. There will be setbacks. There will be days when old patterns resurface, when emotions are triggered, and when you feel yourself slipping back into old habits. This is normal. The key is not to judge yourselves harshly, but to acknowledge the slip, learn from it, and gently, persistently return to your practice. Embrace discomfort as growth. The process of facing internal wounds and releasing deep-seated needs will inevitably bring discomfort. Embrace this discomfort as a sign of growth. It is the necessary friction that precedes expansion. Celebrate small shifts. Acknowledge and celebrate every small victory. Every time you choose peace over reaction. Every time you set a boundary. Every time you prioritize your inner well-being over external approval. These small shifts compound over time, leading to profound transformations. This profound transformation involves releasing the heavy baggage of the past, dissolving the illusions of external control, and embracing your inherent power. It is about understanding that your peace is not a fragile state easily broken by others, but an unshakable inner fortress built upon the solid ground of self-awareness, discipline, and sovereignty. When you undertake this spiritual work, you not only protect yourselves from toxic energy, but you also become a beacon of calm, strength, and unwavering peace in a turbulent world. This is the ultimate freedom, the freedom to be yourselves, untouched by external discord, rooted in your own divine essence. Sacred presence and the invincible shield of self-mastery. My dear students, fellow travelers on the path of self-transcendence, we have journeyed deeply, exploring the insidious nature of toxic influence, pinpointing its root in our own internal permission, and beginning the profound work of cultivating calm, sacred silence and the liberating power of detachment and inner sovereignty. Now, as we approach the culmination of these teachings, I want to illuminate the ultimate manifestation of this inner work, the cultivation of sacred presence and the realization of an invincible shield of self-mastery. This is where all the previous principles converge, creating a state of being so formidable, so integrated, that external negativity simply cannot penetrate, but rather dissolves or rebounds harmlessly. Your very presence is your power. This is not a poetic flourish. It is a fundamental, energetic truth. When you are fully present, fully anchored in the here and now, radiating an aura of calm and self-possession, you become a formidable energetic force. A toxic individual, accustomed to operating on a frequency of chaos and reactivity, seeks a resonant point within you. If you are not present, if your energy is scattered, if your mind is wandering in past regrets or future anxieties, you become porous, offering numerous entry points for their low vibrational energy. But when you are fully present, centered and whole, there are no energetic cracks for them to exploit. Your presence becomes a complete and coherent energetic field. The radiance of sacred presence, your ultimate shield. Sacred presence is the state where your mind, body, and spirit are fully aligned, fully in the moment, emanating an undeniable sense of groundedness and inner peace. It is the natural outcome of consistent practice in mindfulness, self-awareness, and emotional regulation. When you are truly present, your attention is not fragmented, it is fully concentrated. Your energy is not leaking, it is contained and powerful. Think of it as a clear, still lake. When the lake is calm, it reflects the sky perfectly. When someone tries to throw a rock into it, the impact is absorbed and the ripples eventually settle back into stillness. But if the lake is already turbulent, every disturbance creates greater chaos. Your inner stillness, born from presence, makes you like that calm lake. External disturbances may create momentary ripples, but your inherent stillness quickly reasserts itself. This sacred presence is your ultimate shield, because it operates on an energetic level that transcends verbal arguments or physical confrontation. Toxic individuals operate on a frequency of fear, anger, and control. When they encounter your presence, which vibrates at a frequency of peace, calm, and self-possession, their energy simply cannot find a point of resonance. It's like trying to connect two magnets with the same pole facing each other. Your higher vibration effectively repels their lower one. How to cultivate sacred presence as a shield. Deepen embodiment. Your body is the temple of your presence. Consistently practice full embodiment, feeling your feet on the ground, the sensations in your hands, the gentle rhythm of your breath. When you are fully in your body, your energy is grounded, making it difficult for external forces to shake you. This is why our Shaolin training heavily emphasizes physical awareness and control. It anchors consciousness to an unwavering gaze and calm demeanor. When confronted by a toxic person, maintain a calm, unwavering gaze. Your eyes are windows to your soul, and an unblinking, peaceful gaze communicates inner strength and conviction. Avoid fidgeting or showing signs of discomfort. Your calm body language reinforces your energetic boundary. 3. Breathe into your core. When you feel tension or a challenge rising, take a deep, slow breath that extends all the way into your lower abdomen, your energetic center, the Dantian in our tradition. This grounds your energy, strengthens your core, and helps you remain centered even when external forces try to destabilize you. 4. Listen, don't absorb. Practice active listening when a toxic person speaks, but do so from a place of detached observation. Listen to their words, understand their communication, or lack thereof, but do not absorb their emotional charge or their negativity. Imagine their words as sound waves passing through you, not sticking to you. 5. The art of non-reaction. This is the pinnacle of presence. Instead of reacting impulsively, pause, let their words hang in the air. Allow yourself to feel any fleeting emotions, but then choose not to act from that emotional impulse. Your non-reaction is a powerful act of conscious choice, demonstrating that you are not a puppet to their strings. Your very demeanor, your calm presence, your non-reactive energy, these speak volumes without a single word being uttered. They communicate my peace is inviolable. You cannot reach me with your chaos. Self-mastery, the summit of inner cultivation. The convergence of all these teachings, presence, self-awareness, discipline, calm, detachment, inner sovereignty and healing internal wounds culminates in self-mastery. This is the state where you are so completely and harmoniously in command of your own internal world, your thoughts, your emotions, your energy and your actions, that the external world genuinely cannot shake your internal reality. Self-mastery is not about controlling others or external situations. It is about absolute control over yourselves. It means command over your mind. Your mind is no longer a wild horse running rampant, but a finely tuned instrument, directed by your conscious will. Thoughts arise, but you choose which ones to entertain, which to observe, and which to release. Emotional resilience. You experience emotions fully, but you are not defined or overwhelmed by them. You can navigate the full spectrum of human feelings without losing your center. You are the witness to your emotions, not their victim. Unwavering core. You possess an unshakable inner core, a deep reservoir of peace and strength that remains untouched by external storms. This core provides a constant source of stability, ensuring that your inner reality reigns intact even when chaos surrounds you. Intentional action. Your actions are no longer dictated by impulse, fear or external pressure. They are born from clarity, wisdom and alignment with your highest values and purpose. You act deliberately, not reactively. Freedom from external dependence. You are no longer dependent on external validation, approval or circumstances for your happiness or worth. Your sense of fulfillment comes from within, from your own growth, your own integrity and your own mastery. This is the ultimate goal of the Shaolin path. It is not about becoming physically invincible in combat, though that is a byproduct of discipline. It is about becoming internally invincible, so resilient in spirit that nothing outside of you can truly break your inner peace. The most profound victory is the victory over oneself, the silent language of your transformation. As you cultivate this profound level of self-mastery, your transformation will become evident not through your words or explanations, but through your very being. I emphasize that you do not need to explain your transformation. Your calmness and your peace will naturally protect you. Why is this so? Because genuine transformation is felt, not just heard. When you operate from a place of profound inner peace and self-mastery, your energetic signature changes. This new energy is palpable. People, even toxic ones, will sense it. They will feel your boundaries without you needing to explicitly state them. Your energetic boundaries, fortified by your presence and self-mastery, will be intuitively sensed. They will not find a hook. Their usual tactics, criticism, drama, manipulation, will fail to find a hook or a resonant point within you. Their negativity will simply fall flat, unable to elicit the desired reaction. They will be disoriented. Your calm, unreactive presence disrupts their familiar script. They may become confused or frustrated by their inability to control or provoke you, and often they will simply retreat, seeking easier targets. You become a mirror of peace. Your presence becomes a mirror reflecting back a state of peace and calm that many toxic individuals lack. While some may be drawn to this peace for their own healing, others may find it uncomfortable because it confronts them with their own internal discord, causing them to withdraw. This is the true power of embodiment. When you embody the principles of self-mastery, your actions, your reactions, your very being become a silent, powerful language that communicates your internal state. You don't need to engage in arguments or justification. Your peace itself becomes your most potent defense. Your peace is sacred, your ultimate superpower. Finally, my friends, let us remember and internalize this ultimate truth. Your peace is sacred. And this is a profound statement. Nobody has the right to perturb your inner peace. This is your superpower. This is not a suggestion. It is a declaration of your inherent spiritual right. Your inner peace is not a commodity to be traded, nor is it a privilege to be earned. It is your natural state, your birth as a conscious being. To protect it is not selfish. It is an act of profound self-respect and spiritual integrity. Recognizing your inner peace as your superpower shifts your perspective from being a potential victim of external forces to being the ultimate guardian of your own well-being. A superpower is an intrinsic ability, an inherent strength that, once recognized and cultivated, can be wielded for protection and for the benefit of yourself and, by extension, the world. To wield this superpower, conscious vigilance. Maintain constant vigilance over your inner state. Notice immediately when your peace is being threatened or perturbed, and take conscious steps to recenter yourselves. Non-negotiable boundary. Establish your inner peace as a non-negotiable boundary. Just as you wouldn't allow someone to physically assault you, do not allow anyone to energetically assault your inner peace. Return to your center. Whenever you feel yourself being pulled into external chaos, consciously return to your center. Use your breath, your presence, your detachment to anchor yourselves in your inner sanctuary. Prioritize your well-being. Make the cultivation and preservation of your inner peace your absolute highest priority. All other pursuits become more meaningful and effective when rooted in this foundation. This is the path of the Shaolin warrior, not just of physical prowess, but of profound internal strength. It is a path of cultivating unwavering self-mastery, so that your inner reality remains undisturbed, a bastion of calm amidst the world's storms. When your peace is truly sacred to you, when it is your superpower, you become a force of tranquility that not only protects yourselves, but also inspires and uplifts those around you. Live from this place of unshakable peace, and you will find genuine freedom. My dear students, fellow travelers on the path of self-transcendence, we have traversed deeply into the intricate landscape of conscious existence, meticulously pinpointing the insidious root of toxic influence in our own internal permission. We have rigorously laid the groundwork for profound energetic protection through the diligent cultivation of inner calm, the profound practice of sacred silence, and the liberating powers of detachment and self-sovereignty. Now, as we draw closer to the culmination of these transformative teachings, I wish to illuminate the ultimate and most profound manifestation of this rigorous inner work: the steadfast cultivation of sacred presence and the ultimate realization of an invincible shield of unwavering self-mastery. This is the pivotal point where all the previously discussed principles seamlessly converge and harmonize, creating a state of being so profoundly formidable, so exquisitely integrated, that external negativity in its myriad forms simply finds itself utterly unable to penetrate. Instead, it either dissolves harmlessly or rebounds effortlessly, leaving your inner sanctity completely untouched and undisturbed. Your very presence is your power. This is not a mere poetic flourish, a metaphorical embellishment, or an abstract concept to contemplate. It is, unequivocally, a fundamental, palpable, energetic truth, deeply rooted in the very fabric of existence itself. When you are fully and completely present, when every facet of your being is anchored immovably in the here and now, consciously radiating an unshakable aura of calm, groundedness, and profound self-possession, you become, in essence, a formidable and coherent energetic force. A toxic individual, inherently accustomed to operating on a low frequency of chaos, discord, and reactivity, instinctively seeks a resonant point within your energetic field. They look for a vulnerability, an unaddressed wound, a porous boundary, or an unhealed fracture through which to exert their influence and drain your vitality. If your being is not fully present, if your precious energy is scattered and fragmented across 1,000 distractions, if your mind is incessantly wandering in the labyrinth of past regrets or the anxious projections of future uncertainties, then you become energetically permeable, inadvertently offering countless entry points for their low vibrational energy to seep in, take root, and begin its corrosive work. But when you are fully and completely present, utterly centered, and intrinsically whole, vibrating with the pure coherency of conscious awareness, there are simply no energetic cracks, no points of weakness, and no resonant vulnerabilities for them to exploit. Your unified presence itself transforms into a complete, impenetrable, and dynamically coherent energetic field that naturally repels what does not serve it. The radiance of sacred presence, your ultimate living shield. Sacred presence is the profound and meticulously cultivated state where your mind, your body, and your spirit are precisely aligned, perfectly synchronized, and utterly immersed in the unfolding moment. It is a state where your entire being emanates an undeniable and profound sense of groundedness, an unshakable inner peace, and an effortless equanimity. This elevated state is the natural, organic outcome of consistent and disciplined practice in mindfulness, deep self-awareness, and precise emotional regulation. When you are genuinely present, your attention is no longer fragmented, dispersed, or scattered haphazardly. Instead, it becomes fully concentrated, a laser beam of conscious awareness, directed with clear intention. Your vital energy is no longer leaking away into extraneous distractions, emotional reactivity, or external demands. It is contained, conserved, and powerfully focused, forming a resilient and coherent energetic container around your entire being. Consider this concept through the vivid, serene metaphor of a clear, unruffled lake. When the lake's surface is perfectly calm, mirror-like in its stillness, it reflects the vast sky above with pristine clarity and unwavering precision. When an external force, perhaps a small stone playfully thrown by a child, attempts to disturb its surface, the immediate impact is absorbed gracefully, and the resulting ripples, though momentarily present, inevitably spread outwards in concentric circles and then gradually settle back into the lake's inherent stillness, leaving its core undisturbed. However, if the lake is already turbulent, perpetually agitated by strong erratic winds or underlying internal currents, even the smallest external disturbance creates an escalating wave of greater chaos and prolonged unrest, making its surface a maelstrom. Your cultivated inner stillness, meticulously born from consistent and profound presence, renders you akin to that serene, calm lake. External disturbances, no matter how intense, how provocative, or how sustained, may indeed create momentary ripples upon your surface, touching the periphery of your awareness, but your inherent, cultivated stillness and profound inner peace quickly, effortlessly, and reliably reassert themselves, bringing you back to your harmonious center and restoring your equilibrium. This sacred presence, this profound state of integrated being, serves as your ultimate living shield because it operates on an energetic and vibrational level that fundamentally transcends the limitations of mere verbal arguments, intellectual justifications, logical debates, or even direct physical confrontation. Toxic individuals, by their very nature, habitually operate on a consistently low frequency, fueled by fear, anger, manipulation, a pervasive sense of lack, and a compulsive need for control. When they encounter your cultivated presence, which consistently vibrates at a distinctly higher frequency of peace, profound calm, and unshakable self-possession, their discordant, low-vibrational energy simply cannot find a point of resonance with yours. It is akin to attempting to connect two powerful magnets with the same poles intentionally facing each other. They naturally and effortlessly repel each other, pushing away rather than attracting. Your higher, pure, and more coherent vibration effectively repels their lower, denser, and chaotic one, creating an energetic impermeability that shields you from their influence. This profound energetic phenomenon means that your radiating presence effectively creates a subtle but potent field of non-resonance around you. Their attempts to provoke, to destabilize your emotions, to drain your vital energy, or to overtly control your reactions are met with a quiet, unyielding solidity that offers no purchase, no vulnerability, no point of engagement for their negativity. Their lower frequencies simply cannot entangle with your higher one. Much like a radio receiver meticulously tuned to one specific station cannot pick up the broadcast of another station if the frequencies do not precisely match. Your cultivated presence thus becomes a coherent high-frequency signal that effectively jams their disruptive low-frequency broadcast, rendering their attempts ineffective. How to cultivate sacred presence as an impenetrable shield, practical embodiment and daily application. The cultivation of sacred presence is not a theoretical aspiration, a distant ideal, or a concept to merely discuss. It is a practical embodied discipline that demands consistent, diligent, and conscious application in every facet of your daily life. It is through these repeated intentional actions that presence transforms from an idea into a tangible, protective force. Deepen embodiment and grounding practices. Your physical body is far more than just a vessel for your consciousness. It is in fact the sacred temple of your presence, the immediate and most accessible point of anchor for your consciousness in this material reality. Therefore, consistently practice full embodiment. Bring your conscious awareness into every single part of your physical form. Feel the sensation of your feet firmly planted on the ground, consciously connecting you to the earth's immense, stabilizing and nurturing energy. Notice the subtle sensations in your hands, the gentle rhythm and texture of your breath moving through your body, filling your lungs, expanding your abdomen, and releasing. When you are fully and completely immersed in your body, your energy becomes deeply grounded, rooted, and contained, making it extraordinarily difficult for external forces, no matter how strong, to shake your inner equilibrium or pull you off balance. This is precisely why our Shaolin training places such heavy, continuous, and meticulous emphasis on developing exquisite physical awareness, precise body control, and the cultivation of a robust, resilient physical foundation. It is not merely for acquiring strength or agility in combat, but to profoundly anchor consciousness within the present moment, thereby creating an unshakable internal stability that permeates your entire being. 2. Maintain an unwavering gaze and calm demeanor. When you are inevitably confronted by a toxic individual, a challenging situation, or any external pressure, consciously endeavor to maintain a calm, steady, and unwavering gaze. Your eyes are far more than mere organs of sight. They are direct windows to your soul, powerful conduits of your inner state, revealing much of your internal landscape. An unblinking, peaceful, yet firmly resolute gaze communicates profound inner strength, unwavering conviction, and an undisturbed presence that radiates from your core. Make a conscious, diligent effort to avoid any fidgeting, any restless movements, or any other subtle or overt physical signs of discomfort, nervousness, or internal agitation. Your calm, composed, and steady body language consistently reinforces your energetic boundary, sending a clear, non-verbal message of your profound self-possession and your energetic invulnerability. This external composure reflects and reinforces your internal state. 3. Breathe deeply into your core, the Dantian connection, an energetic reservoir. Whenever you feel internal tension rising, or perceive an external challenge approaching, or sense a potential confrontation, immediately take a deep, slow, and conscious breath that extends all the way into your lower abdomen, the energetic center known as the Dantian in our ancient tradition. This intentional, deep, and diaphragmatic breathing serves multiple vital functions. It powerfully grounds your energy, drawing it downwards and inwards, strengthening your core energetic reservoir, and profoundly helps you remain centered, balanced, and unperturbed. even when powerful external forces relentlessly try to destabilize your inner equilibrium. This breath is your immediate, ever-present access point to inner stillness, immense power, and unshakable resilience, activating your parasympathetic nervous system and calming your entire being. 4. Listen actively, but do not absorb energetically. Practice active, empathetic, and mindful listening when a toxic person speaks, but execute this listening from a place of conscious, detached observation. Listen intently to their word, endeavor to understand their communication, or their lack thereof, which is often indicative of their own inner turmoil or state of being, but make a deliberate, firm choice not to absorb their emotional charge, their negativity, their criticism, their blame, or their internal chaos. Imagine their words, their negative energy, as mere transient sound waves, or ephemeral energetic currents passing harmlessly through you, like water through a sieve, rather than clinging to you, penetrating your field or finding any point of attachment within your being. You acknowledge their presence, their attempt to engage, without internalizing their content or allowing it to disturb your peace. 5. The art of non-reaction, the pinnacle of conscious presence and sovereign choice. This, my friends, is arguably the pinnacle, the most refined and advanced expression of sacred presence in action. Instead of impulsively, automatically reacting to their provocations, take a conscious, deliberate, and sometimes extended pause. Allow their words, their implied accusations, their judgments, or their aggressive energy to simply hang in the air between you without immediately engaging them verbally or feeling compelled to respond. Allow yourselves to feel any fleeting emotional responses that might arise, a flicker of anger, a pang of frustration, a moment of sadness, but then, crucially, consciously choose not to act from that emotional impulse. Your intentional non-reaction is an extraordinarily powerful act of conscious choice, unequivocally demonstrating that you are not a puppet subject to their manipulation, that you are not bound by their emotional strings, and that you possess absolute compassionate command over your own internal landscape. This non-reaction communicates absolute energetic sovereignty. Your entire demeanor, your pervasive calm presence, your controlled non-reactive energy, these speak volumes, radiating a profound message without a single word ever being uttered. They silently and powerfully communicate to the world, and most importantly, to the toxic influence. My peace is absolutely inviolable. My inner sanctuary is protected. You cannot reach me with your chaos. Your energy finds no resonance here. This, my friends, is the living, breathing, and tangible manifestation of your impenetrable energetic boundaries. A shield stronger and more resilient than any physical wall ever constructed. For it is built of consciousness itself. Self-mastery, the unassailable summit of inner cultivation and true freedom. The seamless convergence and harmonious integration of all these profound teachings. Sacred presence, deep self-awareness, unwavering discipline, cultivated calm, liberating detachment, undeniable inner sovereignty, and the courageous healing of internal wounds, culminates in the glorious, aspirational state of self-mastery. This is the elevated state of being where you are so profoundly, so completely, and so harmoniously in command of your own intricate internal world, your thoughts, your emotions, your vital energy, and your purposeful actions, that the external world, with all its inherent unpredictability, its constant challenges, and its occasional chaotic storms, genuinely and truly cannot shake your internal reality. Your inner peace becomes an unshakable fortress, a bastion that stands resolute and unyielding against all external assaults, its foundations deep within your awakened being. Self-mastery, it is vital to understand, is not about attempting to exert control over others, for that is a perpetual delusion and a futile endeavor, nor is it about manipulating external situations to conform precisely to your desires, for that too is an exhausting and ultimately self-defeating pursuit. Instead, it is about achieving absolute compassionate and unwavering control over yourselves. Your reactions, your focus, your energy. It means absolute command over your mind. Your mind is no longer akin to a wild, untamed horse running rampant and unchecked, driven solely by external stimuli or internal impulses. Instead, through diligent practice, it transforms into a finely tuned, exquisitely precise instrument, consciously directed by your awakened will and discerning intention. Thoughts will inevitably arise, as is their fundamental nature. But you, as the conscious master, consciously choose which thoughts to entertain and engage with, which to observe from a detached, witness perspective, and which to simply release, allowing them to pass without holding on to them or giving them power. You become the conscious conductor of your own mental orchestra, orchestrating harmony rather than discord. Profound emotional resilience and equanimity. You experience the full, rich, and vibrant spectrum of human emotions, from exhilaration to profound sorrow, from righteous anger to serene peace, authentically, completely, and without suppression. Yet you are not defined by them, nor are you overwhelmed, consumed, or hijacked by their intensity. You develop the profound capacity to skillfully navigate the entire gamut of human feelings, understanding their transient nature, without ever losing your fundamental center or your inner equilibrium. You become the conscious witness to your emotions, observing their ebb and flow, their rise and fall, rather than becoming their helpless victim or their raging, uncontrolled embodiment. This is emotional freedom, an unwavering core of being. Within your innermost self, you diligently cultivate and possess an unshakable, indestructible inner core, a deep, inexhaustible reservoir of profound peace, immense strength, and unwavering stability that remains utterly untouched and untainted by the relentless storms, the superficial turbulence, and the transient dramas of the external world. This sacred core provides a constant, reliable source of profound stability, resilience, and internal coherence, meticulously ensuring that your inner reality remains perfectly intact, harmonious, and unperturbed, even when utter chaos swirls intensely around you from all directions. This is your unassailable spiritual foundation. Intentional, purposeful action. Your actions are no longer dictated solely by impulsive reactions, paralyzing fear, unconscious patterns, or overwhelming external pressures, whether overt or subtle. Instead, your actions are born from a place of profound clarity, deep wisdom, and an unwavering alignment with your highest values, your most authentic self, and your evolving purpose. You act deliberately, consciously, and with clear intention, rather than merely reacting instinctively, habitually, or haphazardly. Every step you take becomes a conscious choice, every decision a deliberate alignment with your deepest truth, leading to a life of integrity and meaning. Absolute freedom from external dependence. Through this path, you become liberated from the capricious nature of external validation, the ephemeral approval of others, or the fluctuating, uncontrollable circumstances of the world. For your profound happiness, your inherent sense of worth, or your emotional well-being, your profound sense of fulfillment, your intrinsic peace, and your deep joy originate exclusively from within, from your own continuous growth, your own unwavering integrity, and your own hard-won self-mastery. This internal wellspring of contentment makes you truly free, unbound by the opinions or conditions of the external world. This, my friends, is the ultimate, true goal and promise of the Shaolin path. It is not merely about achieving physical invincibility in combat, although that is indeed a natural and powerful byproduct of disciplined training and dedicated self-cultivation. It is fundamentally about becoming internally invincible, so profoundly resilient in spirit, so deeply rooted in your inner peace, that nothing outside you can genuinely break or even perturb your internal reality, your core being. The most profound, the most enduring, and the most significant victory you will ever achieve in this life is the victory over yourselves, the comprehensive mastery of your own mind, your emotions, your energy, and your highest potential. The silent language of your transformation beyond the need for words or explanation. As you diligently cultivate this profound level of self-mastery, your transformation will become strikingly evident, not primarily through your words, your lengthy explanations, or your verbose declarations, but through the very essence of your being, your resonant energetic presence, and your calm, unwavering demeanor. I consistently emphasize that you do not need to explain your transformation to anyone. Your inherent calmness, your unwavering peace, and your undeniable self-possession will in themselves naturally, effortlessly, and powerfully protect you, acting as an energetic shield that speaks louder than any words. Why is this so profoundly true? Because genuine, authentic transformation is not just heard or understood intellectually, it is fundamentally felt and perceived energetically by those around you. When you consistently operate from a place of profound inner peace, deep self-mastery, and absolute self-possession, your entire energetic signature undergoes a radical perceptible shift. This new elevated energy is palpable. It resonates with a clarity, a strength, and a coherence that is unmistakable and deeply felt by others. People around you, even those who typically radiate toxic energy, will instinctively sense this shift. They will tangibly feel your boundaries, without you ever needing to explicitly state them verbally or engage in a confrontation. Your robust energetic boundaries, now powerfully fortified by your cultivated presence and unwavering self-mastery, will be intuitively sensed by others. They will feel a subtle yet firm, invisible barrier that clearly communicates your non-negotiable personal space and your self-respect. Besides, they will consistently fail to find a hook or point of leverage. Their usual manipulative tactics, be it criticism, drama, emotional coercion, projection, or passive-aggressive behavior, will consistently fail to find a hook, a point of weakness, a vulnerability, or a resonant energetic point within your being. Their negativity will simply fall flat, unable to elicit the desired reactive emotional response from you, because the internal mechanism that previously responded has been meticulously healed, transmuted, and fortified. You no longer offer them the fuel they seek. They will become disoriented and frustrated. Your calm, unreactive, and self-possessed presence fundamentally disrupts their familiar and predictable script of interaction. They may become overtly confused, deeply frustrated, or even subtly agitated by their complete inability to control, provoke, or emotionally manipulate you. Often, when their tactics consistently fail to yield results, they will simply retreat, unconsciously seeking easier targets whose energetic boundaries are more permeable or whose emotional reactivity can be more readily exploited for their own energetic sustenance. As you become a powerful mirror of peace and integrity, your very presence, imbued with profound self-mastery, transforms into a powerful, unvarnished mirror, accurately reflecting back to others a state of peace, calm, and inner coherence that many toxic individuals profoundly lack within themselves. While some rare individuals may be genuinely drawn to this radiating peace for their own healing and transformation, others, particularly those deeply entrenched in their own suffering and patterns, may find your presence intensely uncomfortable or even threatening. This discomfort arises because your consistent, calm presence implicitly confronts them, perhaps for the first time, with the glaring reality of their own internal discord, their own unaddressed suffering, and their own unmet needs. This discomfort may often cause them to withdraw, as your presence forces an uncomfortable self-confrontation that they are not yet ready to face. This, my friends, is the true embodied power of self-mastery. When you embody these principles, your actions, your reactions, your very being, your very aura, become a silent yet incredibly powerful language that unequivocally communicates your internal state. You transcend the need to engage in futile arguments, desperate justifications, or lengthy explanations that fall on deaf ears or are twisted by another's agenda. Your peace itself, your cultivated inner peace, transforms into your most potent, unassailable defense, a shield forged not of metal but of pure, conscious awareness. Your peace is sacred, your ultimate superpower and unwavering birthright. Finally, my friends, let us internalize, embody, and declare this ultimate profound truth. Your peace is sacred, and let this resonate deeply within every fiber of your being. Nobody, absolutely no one, has the inherent right to perturb your inner peace. This is your superpower. This is not a mere suggestion, a gentle piece of advice, or a hopeful aspiration to pursue. It is an absolute declaration of your inherent spiritual right, a fundamental and immutable truth of your existence. Your inner peace is not a commodity to be bargained for, traded, or earned through external effort or approval. It is your natural primordial state, your divine birthright as a conscious sovereign being. To diligently protect it, to fiercely guard it against all intrusive influences, is not an act of selfishness, isolation, or arrogance. It is rather an act of profound self-respect, unwavering self-love, and unshakable spiritual integrity. It is the core responsibility you have to yourselves. Recognizing your inner peace as your superpower radically shifts your entire perspective from being a potential victim of external forces to becoming the ultimate compassionate guardian of your own well-being, the sovereign master of your internal domain. A superpower by its very definition is an intrinsic ability, an inherent strength, a limitless capacity that once truly recognized, diligently cultivated and consciously wielded, can be employed not only for your own profound protection and flourishing, but also by extension for the benefit and upliftment of the world around you, as your peace radiates outwards. To consciously wield this powerful superpower of inner peace, diligently and consistently, cultivate conscious vigilance. Maintain a state of continuous, unwavering vigilance over your inner state. Notice immediately, at the very first subtle signal, when your peace is being threatened, perturbed, or challenged, whether by external events, by the words of others, or by your own internal thoughts. Once recognized, take immediate conscious steps to recenter yourselves, to return to your core through breath, awareness, or disengagement. This constant awareness is your first line of defense. Establish a non-negotiable boundary for peace. Unwaveringly establish your inner peace as an absolute, non-negotiable boundary. Just as you would never consciously allow someone to physically assault you without resistance, you must, with equal conviction and inner strength, refuse to allow anyone to energetically assault, drain, or perturb your inner peace. This is a boundary rooted in profound self-respect and the understanding that your inner sanctuary is inviolable. To consciously return to your center, the anchor. Whenever you feel yourselves being pulled into the vortex of external chaos, drama, or negativity, or when your mind becomes agitated, consciously and immediately return to your cherished inner center. Utilize the profound power of your breath as an anchor. Re-engage your sacred presence by bringing your full attention to the present moment and activate your practiced detachment to firmly re-anchor yourselves back into your inner sanctuary of calm. This consistent returning is the essence of resilience, the continuous act of self-reclamation. Prioritize your inner well-being unconditionally. Make the diligent cultivation, the unwavering preservation, and the continuous enhancement of your inner peace your absolute highest priority in life. Understand that all other pursuits, all external achievements, all relationships, and all forms of success become infinitely more meaningful, more joyful, and more effective when they are firmly rooted in this unshakable foundation of inner peace. Without this foundation, external gains are fleeting, fragile, and often come at the cost of your soul's tranquility. This, my friends, is the profound and liberating path of the Shaolin warrior, a path not merely of physical prowess, external conquest, or fleeting material achievement, but of unshakable internal strength, profound energetic sovereignty, and ultimate self-mastery. It is a path of diligently cultivating unwavering self-mastery, so that your inner reality remains eternally undisturbed, an impregnable bastion of profound calm amidst the relentless storms and swirling chaos of the world. When your peace is truly sacred to you, when it is recognized and wielded as your ultimate superpower, you become a powerful radiating force of tranquility that not only protects yourselves from all forms of negativity, but also inspires, elevates, and illuminates those around you, drawing them towards a higher and more harmonious vibration. Live from this place of unshakable peace, and you will discover not merely fleeting moments of happiness, but genuine, abiding freedom.